Today we're talking about the topic of, are you plugged in? I'm here today with Victor Yates. Victor's a former college athlete, played football at the University of Arizona.
Bear down.
And he's going to be visiting with us about what does it mean to be plugged in. I'm thinking, when I think of that, I immediately think of, man, I got to know what the coach is doing. I got to know his game plan. So what does that mean to you?
Right. So plugged in, for me, it makes me think about right when I came on the campus, I was given a playbook, right?
Yeah.
And so part of that playbook is the athletic program's vision. And so knowing the vision of the program, and specifically with that, I've got to know the ins and outs and the expectations for me to be eligible to compete. And so a little story for me is I was in playing in the championship game, right? And it's something that I worked my entire sports career for. And so we're in there and it's like the last 10 seconds and I'm looking around, game's about to end. Game ends, goes final, we start, our sideline erupts, everyone's excited. And I'm looking around because I'm like, there's supposed to be like this magical feeling, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking around, the guys are doing snow angels on the field and I'm like, well, like I don't feel it, right? It hasn't came. So I was like, well, maybe it will happen at the trophy presentation, right, for the championship. So we hosted up, state champs, whatever, and I'm like, this isn't it either. And then the next thing is, hey, well, we're gonna have our ring presentation for our state championship. And so I'm like, oh, this is great. And these are guys that I've been playing football with since I was a freshman in high school, right? And so it's my senior year, we get to the ring presentation, I'm like, it's still not enough. And so I'm left with this question of like, man, what is it that I'm looking for? And so I go on to college at the University of Arizona and then end up as a walk-on to receiving a scholarship, right? And most people think, well, there it is, your moment, right? And even with receiving the scholarship, as excited as I was, it still didn't have that long purpose of fulfillment, right? And so for me, being plugged in, I'm like, what is this? And so 2.5 years into college, I ended up giving my life to Jesus. And what was perfect about the time frame for me was our strength coaches started a Bible study. So then now I'm being connected with fellow believers, right, who are seeking after God and his word and how to live it out practically. And so for me, I got plugged in there, and then all of a sudden, now there's this illumination and the filling of a void that sports could never fill. And I think I had the longest longing for that to be complete in my life, and it wasn't able to do that.
Is there a verse that kind of captures all that, or a thought that kind of brings that in? Because I've heard that testimony from so many people.
Yeah.
You know, I just didn't know why I was competing. Big void. God brings fulfillment and purpose into my life. What brings that home for you?
Yeah, great question. I think the verse that comes to mind specifically is John 15:5. And Jesus is talking about how he is the vine, right? And we are the branches. And if we are in him, then we can bear much fruit. But apart from him, we can do nothing. And for me, as a new believer, when I first came across that verse, I said, nothing. I'm a state champion. I'm a Division I college athlete, right? Like, I've done something with my life, right? And the thing that you have to learn contextually is when Jesus is saying that about doing nothing, it's nothing is basically the equivalent of nothing means you will do nothing of eternal significance. And so for me, I was like, wow. And so once I started following Jesus, all of a sudden the seeking of him and seeking out of others and encouraging others was just like this illumination of wow. And for me, I'm looking at now, and I can look back at my life, the last 10 years of following Jesus, and all the things that I've done for him are things that I can look up and say, man, this was a great investment of my time and energy and effort.
As we close here, what are a couple keys to being plugged in? Like, what are the things that you're just like, these are the things that are going to help you be plugged in to what God's doing?
Yeah, so I think with specifically being plugged in, the 3 keys that I would say is it's all built off a relationship. And so the first one is relationship with God, right? Starting off with prayer and communicating with him regularly. Sort of like how you see a conversation with me and you right now is checking in with God on the daily basis. The next one I would say is a relationship with his word, right? Because sort of like we were talking about earlier with the playbook, if you don't know what God's calling you and asking you to do, right, then how are you going to be able to carry out his vision for your life? Right. And then the last one that drives home for me is relationship with God's people, right? I have brothers and sisters in the faith who follow him and his word, and they encourage me to do the same. So those are my legit teammates, or what we call family members. So Yeah.
Now, Vic, that's good stuff. Thanks for sharing with us about what it means to you and what it really means to live plugged in.
Yeah, my
If
pleasure.
you want to know more about this topic, you can go on down to the questions below. And Vic, thanks for your time.
My pleasure.